So hi, this is Arpita. I'm working as a developer in this team. So today I'm going to demo about this inline variable, which is a C++ 17 feature. So why we have started using this in this particular sprint release is by declaring a variable as inline. It can exist in multiple compilation units without getting linker errors. So by telling this, it means that it is possible to define a variable just in the header file, and then we can include it in several .cpp files. So to explain this feature, I have started using this project inline demo. So here you can see to implement this particular feature, we have used checkbox. So for attribute 1, if I go to the general properties page, you can see that there is a inline checkbox as a modifier where you can select or deselect to mark a variable as inline. Also in the class, if you go to the attribute tab in the properties page, we also have the provision to uh, select or deselect this inline checkbox. So with this way, we can make a variable inline. So for this particular variable attribute 1, if I go to the C++ general tab, we can see that it's a global variable, and we can initialize inline variables by using either a brace or equal initializer. For my case, I have used equal initializer. Since this is a C++ 17 feature, any version of C++ language version, if we are using below C++ 17, we are supposed to get warnings from model compiler. So in this case, if I go to the code generation, and now I have, okay, C++ 11, which is something lower than C++ 17. I save this, and if I just run the transformation, you see here we are getting a warning by giving the qualified name of the attribute. CPP model class 3 attribute 1 inline variable requires C++ 17 or later. So yep, let's change this to C++ 17 and save this model. And simply go to the variable. First, I'm going to show what happens if we have inline and it is marked as global. So now if I just build the transformation configuration, it builds properly with proper compilation. Just before that, I just want to also explain the model a little. So in class 2, I have used this numcheck inline method, which gives integer output, return integer values. So if I go to numcheck and check the code view, it is returning attribute 1. Similarly, for class 1 also, I have one more method called numcheck, which returns attribute 1. So since attribute 1 is a global inline variable, we are not getting any compilation issue, and it is building successfully. Now, if I go to the code, for example, class3.header file, so how the model compiler is generating the code, and if I search here for attribute 1, yeah, you see here we are generating a inline variable, inline int attribute equal to attribute 1 equal to 20. So this is how the model compiler is generating the code, and the code runs successfully without giving any compilation issue. What happens if we don't have this inline as marked? So now if I save this and build the model, yes, we are getting this linker errors, multiple definitions of attribute 1. So here lies the advantage of inline variable. When we are marking a variable as inline, we are able to use it in several compilation units without getting this linker error. So that's why we have introduced inline in the sprint version. And also we have our help context for this particular feature. See, if I go to the help context here, we get the explanation of this inline in the modifiers section. So mark the checkbox inline to generate the variable with the inline keyword. Inline variable is possible to define, not only declare in the header file, that can be included for multiple .cpp files. And this feature is introduced in C++ 17. So we are going to use the C++ language version as C++ 17. So we can declare either by using brace or equal initializer when we are using inline. So yeah, that's more or less how we have implemented inline in our tool. Not just, I want to add one more point, that inline can also be used not only as static, not only as global, but also as a static modifier. So yeah, that's pretty much about inline feature.